What's going on, party people? This is September 15th, 2023. It's a Friday. I make these videos for myself as well as anyone else that wants to shortcut their path to financial freedom. Like our whole channel is dedicated to documenting our journey and sharing advice, things that we've come across, things that we've experienced in hopes of, collaborating with others and helping others on their own path. And of course, feedback is always appreciated. But today I'm going to one of our vending machine locations to pull out the cash because we're going to be selling this location in the very near future, ideally by next week. So I don't want to have all the cash sitting there waiting for the next guy to come in and just grab it like free money. He's already getting a pretty decent location, one that I feel like it has a lot of potential. It's making anywhere between $150 to $200 a month. It's not like a cash cow by any means, but it's one less location that they need to find or install on site. I mean, I'm basically selling it at cost of what I got the machines for, and I ended up, cash flowed a couple months out of it. So it's not the end of the world. I made probably a couple $1,000s off of this location, and we're going to be selling another location in a bundle deal with this one. So I'll be making anywhere between like $2,000 and $3,000 profit, which is perfectly fine. I'm going to be selling it at cost basically, plus whatever cash flow I made. Maybe a little bit over what I got him for, but at the end of the day, like, turnkey services are really, really helpful in this business. But that's part one, is just like update on the vending machine business. I'm gonna make a more detailed video on the business as a whole pretty soon, just because I really like the vending machine industry. I think that the issue that I'm running into, and the challenge that I'm running into, is I want to go completely digital with what I can earn an income from, and then I might have some physical assets that I own, like real estate specifically, and then hire a property manager that can oversee the operations side of it. But outside of that, I guess in theory I could get an operations guy to run the route for me out in my neck of the woods, but I feel like there's much better opportunities in the digital space, especially if I can lock in and just put my nose to the grindstone. But I don't know. I mean, vending is interesting because it's a business just like any others. You're gonna have complaints, you're gonna have issues, but it's one that I would definitely recommend someone get into, especially if you can lock down some pretty solid locations. I'm selling some of my lower performing locations because the other ones that I have are making, anywhere between $1,000 and like $1,500 a month. So I'd rather do the 80-20 rule and only focus on those ones. But outside of that, the job that I'm working right now, it's really interesting because sales were crushing the past 2 months, and this month it's a lot slower. It feels like a lot of people are just not buying right now, which is a little weird because we were really rocking and rolling past 2 months. But that being said, that gives me more time to focus on the content business that I have, which is really cool. And outside of that, I mean, we're going to be going on an international trip in the next couple weeks, so really excited for that. We're going to be gone for 2 weeks, and we're going to recharge with some family members out there where we'll be drinking and having some fun. That'll be really cool. But long story short, this journey to financial freedom, it's really reminded me of a couple main things. Is that you can make money doing so many things, but it's much better to do things that you actually like doing and that you want to do, and you can do at scale. Like, when I say at scale, I mean you could do this, you could either do it for a long period of time, or you could just build out systems that you can pump out a ton of value for, whether that's, your job or some kind of side business, e-commerce, again, real estate, whatever that is, I'm a big proponent of two things. First, prioritizing your time and only doing the things that are worth your time and that are valuable to you. So I wouldn't really focus on, let's say for my content business, editing YouTube videos. Yes, I guess I could narrate this story a little bit better or configure the story a little bit better if I'm the one editing it. But my time is much better served either selling or making the videos themselves and just posting them for an editor who's really good at that and can knock it out 10 times faster than I could. And outside of that, like really valuing the time that you put into things, because I happily outsource tasks that don't make sense financially for us. If I could do, let's say I want to mow the lawn and it takes like 2 or 3 hours to do because we got a relatively big lawn, I would rather just hop on sales calls for those 3 hours and make some money that way, because I could outperform my expense of 3 hours worth of lawn care if I just sold one project. So to me, it makes way more sense to just focus on taking as many sales calls as possible. And that being said, I do think it's important to do things that you like, because I know I'm bouncing a little bit, but the reason I'm saying that is if you're going to build a path to financial freedom, it's got to be on one that you, like I said earlier, like to some degree, because fast forward 5 years, ideally you're going to still be doing this and you're still going to want to do this. And if you're doing things that you don't like, you might as well make the journey a little bit fun because if it's just a slow grind every single day where you're forcing yourself to do all these things, you're really putting yourself in a tough position, because when you think about what that does for your mental being, I mean, you don't want the 5 years to be a struggle and then, you get there, but it was miserable the whole way through. I would rather take 6 or 7 years and love every single second of it, because it's something that I would have done for free, or, I would have done regardless anyway. So yes, the path that I'm taking is a little bit longer. A lot of my methodology and like my approach to life is a lot of inspiration from Gary Vaynerchuk, where it's like give, then ask. And a lot of this channel is dedicated to that too. Like I'm trying to give as much value or information that I can and document our path to whenever the point comes that we actually get to a good place financially. It's like, hey, this is what we did. This is our experience. And by the way, if you wanted to do what we did, I put it all into a blueprint. It's like 25 cents. I don't know, whatever we'll do in the future. I think it's worthwhile. Yeah, people could watch 7 hours of content, but I feel like it would be helpful to just condense everything and just be like, these are the top 10 things we learned, and just bundle it together or just make a video on it. I don't know, but it's important to keep things simple and do things that you love and try to focus on the highest priority tasks, because it's very easy to get busy versus productive. And I'm the very first one to tell you, like, I used to do 20 things at once, and that got me nowhere. It got me 1 inch in all of those directions. And I'd rather go a million miles in one direction versus, a mile in a million different directions. So those are kind of the realizations that we've come across recently, and that's where we're at now. I'm projecting to sell the vending machine business entirely within the next year and use that capital to invest in real estate, or maybe plow it all into content. I have no idea what's around the corner, but I know that when you know your why, the how will figure itself out. And that's where we're at right now, is just deciding to be very dedicated towards the betterment of our lifestyle and the betterment of our future. And as long as we can put ourselves in a good position to succeed financially by, reinvesting whatever we earn in the smart way and not rush anything, we'll be in a good place. So that's what's going on in our life. Thank you so much for watching. God bless. Stay tuned.